What's up YouTube? This is Bystander X79, guys. Hey, I'm coming to you with my latest deck profile video for May 2019. And guys, today we got a hot one. I'm doing my Shaddoll Magician Girl deck profile. And I can tell you this right now, this deck is insane. Completely filled with monsters, allowing you to link summon. It has some seriously awesome battle effects, which can really trick out your opponent and be able to allow your smaller monsters to beat over their big ones, which is just huge. And let's not forget that in the extra deck we got some pretty damn awesome boss monsters ready to come out and wreak havoc with their effects. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to get right into the deck. Alright, as always, starting off with the monsters. 2 copies of Berry Magician Girl. Alright, Berry Magician Girl is kind of like the Stratos. Whenever she's normal summon, you get to turn on add a Magician Girl from your card, from your deck, right to your hand, which is just huge. Another thing is that whenever she's targeted for a card effect or by your opponent's monster attack, she can change her battle position to defense position and then special summon another Magician Girl monster right from your deck to the field. The attack is switched to that monster, and the monster that was attack is now cut in half. Awesome. All the Magician Girls effect have that last summon, switch, and have effects on them, which is just huge. Okay. Okay, Apple Magician Girl, 3 copies of her. She's targeted for an attack. You get to special summon a level 5 or lower spellcaster monster from your hand to the field. Again, switch at half the attack of your opponent's monster, which is awesome. She also has an amazing effect. Whenever she's sent from the field to the graveyard, you're able to target up to 3 other copies of Magician Girls in your graveyard and add them back to your hand. So awesome. It keeps the deck flowing and your resources coming back. Alright. This is another one of the Magician Girls I really love using. It has 3 copies of Chocolate Magician. Oh, basically you discard a spellcaster monster from your hand to the graveyard to draw a card. So she does allow that extra boost of consistency with the draw, which is awesome. And whenever she's targeted for an attack, she's special summoning a spellcaster monster from your graveyard right to the field, which is just huge. There's no level restriction, which means you can be bringing back almost anything in this deck. And of course, like always, you're switching the target of the attack to that monster and cutting your opponent's attack in half, which is just awesome. Alright. Last but not least, we have 2 copies of Kiwi Magician Girl. Alright. Kiwi is kind of the hand trap of the Magician Girls. Basically, what happens is that you can actually discard her to the graveyard, and then all Magician Girls on your field gain attack points equal to the number of Magician Girls on the field and in the graveyard times, I think it's 300, which is massive attack boosts right there. And not only that, the coolest thing is that she has an on-field effect that while she's on the field, your opponent cannot target or destroy your spellcasters with card effects. And that right there is just so awesome. Alright. Moving on to the Shaddolls. Because this is a Shaddoll deck. 2 copies of Shaddoll Beast. Alright. All Shaddolls have flip effects and as well as card effects when they're sent to the graveyard. Alright. When Shaddoll Beast is foot face up, you get to draw 2 cards and then add 1 card back to your deck. Alright, so it's kind of like a mini Graceful Charity, and then whenever it's sent from the field to the graveyard, or actually whenever it's sent to the graveyard, excuse me, you're drawing a card. And it's 2,200 attack points, which makes it a very awesome card to bring out. Alright, have a couple copies of Shaddoll Dragon. Dragon's pretty awesome. Whenever it's sent from to the graveyard, you get to turn on and pop spell and traps. Flip effect allows you to target 1 card your opponent controls and bounce it back to the hand. So it's a compulsory evacuation device as a flip effect. So that's pretty awesome. Alright. Shaddoll Hedgehog. Oh. Alright, Flip Effect allows you to search for a Shaddoll spell or trap card and add it to your hand, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, add one Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty cool. They're all hard ones per turns on those secondary effects. Alright. Shaddoll Falco, flip it face up, you're able to target a Shaddoll monster in your graveyard, special summon it to the field, in face down defense position, and then if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can actually special summon to the field and face down defense position as well. Awesome, and it's a tuner, so he can give you access to your synchro plays. Alright. Last but not least, we got some tech cards. I'm running 2 copies of Magician's Valkyrie. Primarily, she's in there as a layer tribute for the Construct Fusion, but her on-field effect is just pretty damn awesome, and the fact that, as a matter is, it's pretty easy to get both copies onto the field pretty easily to engage that lock. While you have 2 copies of Magician Valkyrie, your opponent can't target any spellcasters you control for attacks, which basically means the first one protects the second protects the first, and any other spellcasters you have in the field, which means your opponent's not attacking. And Kiwi Magician Girl onto the field, now they can't target or use destroy with card effects, so that's going to be really awesome for that lock. Alright. I am running Blue Boy in here, Spellbook Magician Prophecy. Pretty straightforward. He adds a heck of a lot more consistency to the deck, being able to draw more cards and get into your necessary magicians faster. And last but not least, I do include 1 copy of Dark Magician of Chaos. Awesome boss monster. Can recycle spells from your graveyard back to your hand so you can use them again. And the best part about it now is that with Magical its recursion effect for spell cards and Magical Dimension, you don't have to worry about this recursion effect missing timing. So awesome. Alright, spells. 1 copy of Foolish Burial, because you want to be sending things to the graveyard, specifically your Shaddolls. Alright, Magical Dimension is in this deck. I prefer this over Magician Circle, primarily because it is a quick effect. You do need a spellcaster on your field, but you contribute any other monster you control, not just a spellcaster, which is just awesome. And then you can special summon a spellcaster right from your hand to the field, and then destroy one of your opponent's cards. So it does offer that disruption ability, and it can be activated at a lot of different times, which just makes this card so much more awesome. The Magician Circle, the trap. Alright. Since we are running a Shaddoll deck, 2 copies of Shaddoll Fusion, 1 copy of El Shaddoll Fusion. Just the 3 copies, primarily because it's pretty easy for you to recycle them back if your Shaddoll Fusions do get destroyed by battle or card effect. You get these cards back in your hand and you can just continue using them. Alright. I'm opting for 3 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. The main deck is predominantly all spellcasters, so having 3 copies of this card in your hand is just huge. Or in your deck is just huge because you want to see this with your spellcasters. As long as you summon that 1 card, get its effect off, and then be able to use it on your next turn to draw more cards, it helps out. Okay. No spellcaster deck is worth its salt without running 3 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters, and of course, to go along with it, 2 copies of Terraforming. As long as you control a spellcaster monster, your opponent's not activating spells. This card, the 2 Magician's Valkyrie, and a Kiwi Magician Girl, it's pretty much game right there. Your opponent's not going to be able to do anything, they're not going to be able to get over your monsters, and you pretty much have control of the game state at that point. Alright. 2 copies of Twin Twisters because, let's face it, Mystic Mine is a thing. This card takes it out. Alright, for your own back row, I'm running 2 copies of Magician's Defense. This is an awesome card. Basically, if any of your spellcasters are attacked, this card halves the damage you receive in that battle, which is just huge. If this card is ever destroyed and sent to the graveyard, it acts as a Monster Reborn, allowing you to get a spellcaster back on the field. Alright, and last but not least, to help counter Inherit Summons as well as monster effects, 2 copies of Solemn Strike. Just negates. It's a counter trap, so it's pretty hard to respond to. and ultimately it gives this deck a lot more defense. Alright, there's a lot of battle effect tricks in this deck, so you don't really need battle traps. And you want your opponent to have monsters on the field so you can utilize those battle effects. For the extra deck, so that's in the intro, one copy of Shaddoll Construct. So glad this card came off the ban list. Alright, time to wreck Link monsters. One light fusion, one light attribute monster, one Shaddoll monster. Get you this thing. Whenever summon, it sends a Shaddoll card right to the graveyard so you can trip its effect. Alright, whenever this battles a special summon monster, it's immediately destroyed. It has a catastrophe built into effect, 2800 attack, which just makes it huge. And like all Shaddoll fusions, if this card is ever destroyed by battle or card effects in the graveyard, you're getting a Shaddoll spell or trap card back. Alright, El Shaddoll Analysis. I know I murdered that name, but still, while this card is face up on the field, you and your opponent cannot special summon monsters from your hand or your graveyard with the effects of spell or trap cards. Yeah, it stops those nasty little extender plays, and it's just so awesome. Alright, so one Shaddoll and one water attribute, which is going to be Magician Girl Chocolate. Okay, El Shaddoll Grista. This is basically a walking solemn warning. Yep. Basically, if they summon a monster and you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate that activation and send that Shaddoll card from your hand to your graveyard to negate that monster summon, which is just huge. And over here we got El Shaddoll Shikininga, which is basically the Solemn Strike, Walking Solemn Strike. Basically, same situation as Grista. Your opponent activates a monster effect you control, and you have a Shaddoll card in your hand. You can just negate that card's effect. Let your opponent activate it, and then send the Shaddoll card to your graveyard. So awesome. And then, last but not least, since this is predominantly a spellcaster deck, I'm running 2 copies of the El Shaddoll Winda. Winda is just so freaking amazing. It slows your opponent's game down so much. Basically, both players are only allowed to special summon once per turn, but a lot of times that once per turn is just what you need. Alright, this deck likes to grind, and it will get you the wins. Alright, some synchro plays. I am running one copy of Virgil. Virgil's actually pretty awesome because you could actually use this in a loop with Chocolate Magician Girl to constantly bringing it back from the graveyard to the field and crashing it into something bigger just to turn around and get the free draws it provides whenever it's destroyed. And of course you have Tempest Magician. Tempest Magician is actually pretty awesome because it gains counters, and then you can actually remove those counters and destroy cards on your opponent's field. Okay. Speaking of counters, Daybreaker, the Shining Magical Warrior. This card is actually pretty awesome in this deck. Has Link 2 with downward facing corner arrows, which is literally the best arrows for Link monsters. It gains counters when it's Link summons, boosting its attack up, and then whenever you special summon spellcasters to the zones it points to, it gains more counters, also jacking up its attack. You can remove 2 of those counters, and you can get an extra monster removal off this card, which is just huge. Alright. Some more toolbox stuff. Phoenix, Cerberus, Unicorn. I mean, this is pretty standard stuff you see in most Link Synchro decks anymore. Back row takes care of special summon monsters and spins a card back. Alright. This card can't put up a lot of monsters, so I do have Saruja. It's easy to go into that forname effect to get those extra cards to fix those hands and just go forward. The extra special summon is also so important to this deck. A lot of times, you can just make this with 3 cards and, yeah, special summon a big monster just to crush your opponent. Alright, and of course, the Boral Brothers are in this deck. Boral Sword for OTKs, Boral Load for breaking boards. Alright. Guys, that is it for my Shaddoll Magician Girl deck profile for May 2019. Guys, if you like this deck, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Guys, check out my description box below. Find my invite link to my Discord. Join the conversation. We would love to have you. Also, guys, if you want to see me take my channel to greater heights, please consider backing me on Patreon. The link is to my Patreon page is down in the description box below. Any and all contributions are gratefully welcome. And you do not know how much I will appreciate you for doing that and helping me to push my channel forward and believing in my skills as a YouTuber as well. Also, guys, today is the final day of my Create a Mat contest. If you want to enter, the link is going to be in the end screen. Follow the instructions, enter the contest. And I wish you good luck if you do enter it. Alright? I'm closing the entries at 11:59 p.m. tonight. And hopefully I'll be getting the other entries onto my Patreon page later next week for my patrons to vote on. And then whoever they pick is the winner. Alright. So guys, until next time, peace.